Thank you. I didn't know if it was something I was saying. I haven't said anything yet, so everybody left, right? Yes, I'm Ron Norris. Thank you for inviting me to this. Is a terrific honor to be here. I do a fair amount of speaking engagements across the country, mostly for Connected Worker, which also is part of what you'll see today when we talk about these agents. A lot of people that I've talked to yesterday and last night at the receptions have these terrific jobs, and they make terrific things. It's like, oh, what do you do? And they make lasers. What do you do? I make jets, or I make jet engines that have 14,000 horsepower. And they say, well, Ron, what do you do? Well, I say, well, I just retired from a company called Georgia Pacific. And they went, oh, the train company. No. I was director of innovation there, and well, what did you make? What did you do? We make toilet paper. We make a crap load of it too. We're one of the largest pulp and paper manufacturing companies in the world. Also, number one plywood manufacturer in the United States. So we do a lot of things. 130 manufacturing facilities and 30,000 people in operations. And so my job was to work 3 to 5 years out. How are we going to maintain the position that we have in our industry right now, 3 to 5 years from now? So I got to play around a lot. I had a pretty good budget to do things. And one of the things that I did, and Lauren, similar to some of the stuff that you had mentioned, but in 2015, to go backwards, I did a study of our 4 largest facilities. And that study showed me that 45% of our workforce was going to be 65 years old or older in 2023. This was 8 years ahead of time, and that freaked us out. How are we going to operate these legacy facilities with all the knowledge walking out the door? So we automated more than what we had, which was good. But I went on a quest to find a way to actually capture tacit knowledge and put it into a computer so that we can use knowledge and data to make decisions instead of just data alone. Because this knowledge won't come back. We could hire, I told HR, we're going to have a problem. Nah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. See, I can say this now because HR, they're not in this room. They said, don't worry about it. We will hire our way out of it. We always have. So you're not going to be able to hire your way out of this because we can hire smart people, but they don't have the knowledge of these people that have been here for 30 and 35 years. And their mama worked for us before that. And their daddy did too. So that's what born this that I'm going to talk to you about. And so I saw some of you taking notes, some of you are on your computer, some of you are looking at your phones. If you got your notes on your phone, go ahead and write this down because this is what we're going to come back around to today, or if you've got a note. The work doesn't change. We're not changing the work. What we're changing is the way that we participate in getting that work done. And we're going to use our expert knowledge to help us get there. We're going to talk today about something, and it's not called casual, it's called causal AI. Anybody heard of causal AI? Hey, wow, nice. Have a few. Causal AI is a mixture of knowledge AI and data AI. All right? So as we go through this, keep that in mind. But I want you first to imagine that you are the leader of a supply chain in a small, medium, or large company. Mostly similar things that we all have to do. And what is it, if you are that person, what is it that scares you the most? What scares me the most in that role is this, is that what if I'm not looking and somebody throws a curveball and I don't see it coming? How do I fix it? What is it that I need to know? When do I need to know it? And what do I need to do about it? Those are the things that we need to find out. This is what Laura, this is what you talked about. You said, I would like to be able to see down through my supply chain. Because this is what happens. Let's just say that we're lucky and we're a large manufacturing company. Down at the bottom, we love our tier one suppliers. We talk to them, they take us out to dinner, we go play golf. They take us to concerts. Hopefully they don't go to that concert that got hugging and stuff. But we know our tier one suppliers. But what happens is tier two feeds tier one, tier three feeds tier two. Something happens to tier three, and it has happened to me. Raise your hand if it's happened to you before. If it's not, then you're damn lucky. Tier three has a problem. They wait to tell somebody. They're trying to fix it themselves. They can't make it. Now they tell tier two who can't do it. They try to fix the problem. It goes up the screen, and we're in trouble. We can't make our deadline. This is what we're going to talk about today. Agents. Causal AI agents. A real agent, and I'm going to explain to you what that is in a second. Here's what happens, y'all. I can say y'all because I was born in North Georgia, by the way. I know the difference between y'all and all y'all. So, I'm going to move. Here we go. This company has a problem. The agent that works here communicates all through the layers. I'm going to show you how that works in a minute. This agent now says, I have to solve this problem. And it looks at the capacity of this company and the capacity over here. Can I steal some more capacity here to help this company? And it does. It finds that out. And then it also says, well, we have an alternate supplier down here that can take parts of this load, but they can't take all of it. So now what we've done is we're selling capacity. That's what the tier 3 is doing. So has anybody heard of agents? When you read, okay. There's multiple definitions of the word agent, and I want to explain a little bit about that. There's one thing called AI workflows, and that's where we take, say, a language model, and we say, all right, language model, I want you to do this for me. I want you to do task 1. When you finish task 1, I want you to take that result and do task 2, and you finish that and you do task 3, and then send me a report. Now that's called an AI workflow. We program that in there. And that's great because we need it. And we use a bunch of them. In the company that I am now, I'm the CEO of AIM, Advanced Innovation Management. And I could have gone to another big company. I had plenty of opportunities, but I decided instead, in the short time I've got left to work, that I'm going to do as much as I can to help those people that are small, medium, and large companies, even in manufacturing and even in oil and gas. I have plenty of clients there. Here's what an agent is. A real agent has the ability to learn, predict. It can then reason, make a decision, and explain to us why. And we've never had that before. We've never had the ability to have a computer explain to us why this is the best decision, or at least a recommendation that we have. Here's how it works. This is real numbers here, and you guys you're welcome to challenge me on it. When we used to make a decision in one of those layers of the Purdue Enterprise Reference Architecture model, multiple people would have to say, oh, we've got a problem. I need to go find this data, understand what's going on. So they go find the data. This other person that works with me in that layer has to go find the data. We now get together and we say, what did you see? What did I see? Well, okay, here's what we think has started the problem. How do we solve it? So now we figure out maybe there's a solution. And we go talk to another person that works between the layers. This takes time. And so this is actual truth. To make a big decision, I'm not talking about turning a knob from 10 PSI to 20. I'm talking about making a corporate decision. It took time. And then once we made that decision, we started seeing some value, right? We added agents in the layers, and this is what happened. We were able to make decisions so much faster. We didn't have to go looking, hunting, and pecking to find out where's the data, what does this data mean, how can I use it? The agent did that, brings it to us. It has the knowledge of our subject matter experts in it. We started capturing the value that was just leaking out into the ether, the value between the green line and the purple line. How is this possible? Okay, so causal AI, and some people when I finish, they'll say, oh, you're talking about that casual AI. I'm just like, oh, it's just casual AI. So causal AI is made of three models. And it's an amazing thing, y'all. Look. On the left, we call this the principal causal model. I'm not going to get way too technical, but this is pretty cool stuff, so hang on. This is the principal causal model. The principal causal model is responsible for learning the rules, the science, the laws, the theory. We taught it supply chain. To teach it supply chain, we fed it college courseware and white papers from our favorite consultants on the best ways to run supply chain. So it comes out in about 3 days like a college graduate. Knew all the theory, didn't know how to work. Remember coming out of college? We all knew all the theory. We got to the job and we had no idea what to do with the real job. That's the same thing here. It learned the theory. The rational causal model is how we actually do our roles and functions, our processes. This is our knowledge of our subject matter experts. And our subject matter experts teach it like a new employee. Here's what you see every day. Here's the data that you look at. Here's why you make that decision. Here's an example for that. Our first proof of concept was for order management. And we had just rolled out this giant ERP. It was supposed to be the best thing ever. And it was really expensive, and it was really a disaster for a long time. And so we had a terrible problem. We had a touchless order number in the single digits, meaning that of the thousands of orders that came in every day, only single digits of those were going through the system touchless. And this was not fun. So we have 150 people that work in that department, and they push orders through that ERP. And we took the top 10 and said, teach this like a new employee. What do you see every day? How do you solve those problems? What data do you look at? Why do you look at that data? Why does that help you make a decision? What's the hardest thing that you see every 2 weeks? What's the hardest thing ever? How did you solve that? So this is not just one person telling us this, because if it just learned from one person, it would be learning from a bias foundation. Instead, 10 people. So now it has the knowledge of the 10 best people in our organization to do that job. Mentorship. Think about that. So now, this tells us really what's ideal, doesn't it? It knows the best theory that we can get. It knows how we actually do the best, our subject matter experts. So this is what's ideal for us. The data, this is real, just normal data AI. This is what everybody's talking about, machine learning. The data, right? This tells us what's actually happening. The knowledge is machine teaching, and it tells us what's ideal. So now we have a gap. We have a gap between what's ideal and what's actually happening. Causal is great at root cause analysis. And it says it can go figure out, hold on, if this is where we need to be, this is where we are, here's the gap. And it runs hypotheses on how to solve that gap, like the scientific method. It's like, how can I prove or disprove these hypotheses to solve this? And so it says, here's the gap. It'll come back to us and say, here's the solution. based on the KPIs that you gave me, Ron, to solve these problems. Are you guys with me? All right, shaking heads. All right, you're not asleep yet. Here's what's ideal. Here's what's actually happening. Root cause analysis, what's causing the problem. It comes back to you and says, hey, identify the gap. Here's how we're going to solve it. What I recommend. Here's the data I looked at, and here's why. So now, remember when I said that we're not changing the work. We're changing how we participate in getting it done? Instead of me having to go find all of this stuff out and dig it up and see, do I have the right data? Do I not have the right data? Who can make a decision? What does this data mean? I have to go get somebody from data analytics to come in. Instead of doing all that, this does it for me. I now validate. Is this the right decision based on the data, based on the recommendations, based on the KPIs? Much faster way to make decisions. So that was that green line that we saw earlier. I got to run because this is a lot of stuff to get through. You guys good? We call this automated reasoning. Now, what if in the supply chain that we saw earlier, we had two agents? One causal agent is the order management agent. Another one is the procurement agent, right? I told you about the order management one. I'm going to show you all of what it does here in just a second. It was such a success that we said, where else can we go solve problems? Because this is an amazing tool. So we went to procurement. And the procurement, I thought would be easy. Anybody in here in procurement? Been in procurement? Few? I thought it was like, well, shoot, we just go teach it to buy the lowest cost product that we can find that'll make our products. And boy, was I wrong. Because it learned demand planning and production planning. It learned how we make all of our SKUs, the recipes of how we make every single SKU, and what raw materials go in those recipes, and who are the vendors, suppliers that sell those recipes. Not just tier one, but who sells it to them and who sells it to them. What is that channel? It learned all of this. On the order management one, I've got SME knowledge up there at the top. But here's some other things that are the inputs. Who is the customer? What are their requirements? Do we have the inventory available to promise? What's the demand plan, the DC, the distribution center inventory plan? Is there a lock-in date? Do they absolutely have to have it on a certain day? What's our shipping capacity? Are they on allocation? If we don't have what they want, will they accept something that's a next best alternative? Learn that from Amazon. Anybody order anything from Amazon, they say, oh, we don't have that, but we got something kind of sort of similar. It tracks transportation. Transportation for us was huge. Oh my gosh. We buy stuff from other countries and put it on a boat, and it comes on a boat, and we put it on a train, and we take it off of the train, and we put it on a truck, and we take it to our store, to our mill. It looks at all of that, filtered through the KPIs to give us those outcomes. It also communicates with the procurement app. They talk together to see, all right, here's what's coming in. Procurement app, be aware of this. This is coming to you. To give us these outcomes. And when you look at these outcomes, it's really the issue resolution. It grooms these orders because it's ahead of the ERP. We intercept the order before it goes to the ERP. It grooms the order such that it would go, its KPI was 100% on time and full. One of the things that we found out is because when it goes through this, I've got some hypotheses and I need to check these hypotheses out. It's actually spinning up simulators inside of itself. And these simulators were like, holy cow. You know what we could do with these simulators? Basically, you've got unlimited simulators. It's got a digital twin built into it. It's got all of the data coming in, right? So now we've got digital twins and simulators. We actually did a simulation of What would happen if a hurricane came through the Gulf of Mexico and we had to shut down 2 mills and a distribution center? How would we realign our supply chain to be sure that our biggest customers, and not just the biggest ones, Costco, Walmart, all those, but even some of the smaller customers get what we promised them? You can do a simulation on that. Anyway, all of that is the order management application and the order management agent. Here's the results that we demonstrated. We ran 2 distribution centers, 2 of the largest ones that we had, as a digital twin for 2 months. So legal said I have to say that the touchless orders were lower than desired. I think I already said they were single digits, but you guys can take what that is. It increased touchless orders 10x. What used to take, down at the bottom, 2.92 days for the ERP to keep kicking stuff back to us, we have to manually solve and ship it back. It took 2.92 days, was now 15 seconds to fix. And of all the decisions that we make, we had no idea of how much it was actually costing us. We just knew that if Costco wanted 5 trucks of brawny paper towels, and they were in Pittsburgh, and we had them in Houston, we're sending the trucks, which is great. We need to do that, but we just had no idea how much it was going to cost us. So this was impressive. So leadership said, go try something else that's going to make a difference. So we did procurement. It's a lot more on here than was on order management, isn't it? To teach it procurement, again, it learned demand planning, production planning. It learned how to operate the paper machines, this 450-yard long machine, and how those machines affect paper as it's being made with the wood fibers. It learned all of the mills and the mill capacities and capabilities, and not just the mills, but each of the machines inside the mill. This machine makes this product. This machine makes that product best. This machine OEE is terrible. This machine over here. It learned all of that. It was also, because it's procurement, learned external market intelligence, pricing calls. I told you already, it knew all the recipes to make our SKUs. So you guys can read all of this. One of the big things is that it measures the quality output to be sure that that quality is exactly what we want it to be when it comes off of the line, right? And so how it does that is it looks, we do testing, probably everybody in here probably does testing with whatever your product is coming off the line, and we look at what's coming in. Every shipment for raw materials, we got a certificate of analysis. And so it's looking at that, and it's looking at what the quality product is. Is something slipping? Is this supplier out of bounds because of the material that they're sending us, or are they okay? It's measuring all of that. So you guys can go through all of this. Transportation, yet again, is a big thing. We're running out of breath. I'm trying to hustle, though. She said, don't get up there and just lollygag around. Y'all, look at this. We thought this was what we were going to do. Procurement plan generation. That's what we started out to do. You know what we found out was that this became an agent for finance team, for the inventory management team, the procurement planning team, and R&D. Now, on the finance team, how did that happen? Doggone things got internal simulators on it. So it starts looking at, now here's a fake number. Let's say that we spent $1,000 a ton on eucalyptus from Brazil. And do you guys know that eucalyptus is in your toilet paper? In some toilet papers. Some people don't put eucalyptus in there, and it's just cardboard boxes that have been chewed up. And you'll know the difference because eucalyptus makes it soft. And you'll appreciate that when next time you go buy Quilted Northern, soft and strong. Have you tried that? You should. $1,000 a month, $1,000 a ton is what we were buying. Its job is to find the best price for the best product that we can make and the best supplier to give us those raw materials. It said, hold on, we're not looking, there's another supplier. And I'm looking at the COA here. And my simulation says that if we paid $100 more per ton, which we haven't been because it's not the cheapest, that we would get 8 to 12% more runnability on the machines that make the certain product. I didn't believe it. 8 to 12%, that's just not believable. So we tested it, and it was wrong. It was too high. It was 4 to 10%. And that may not sound like a lot, but man, that the volume of stuff that we're making, 4 to 10%, depending on which machine and which mill it was, is a big deal. So that's called value in use, right? That's the finance team, inventory management, the procurement. Yes, it made procurement plans. It says, okay, here's our plan for the year. I've saved 20% for spot purchases. Here's why I did it this way, and so it explains it all out to us. All right, everybody, last thing, R&D, and then I'm going to get to how much time do I got? Oh, we're doing great. Think about the R&D team. It knows how to make all of our products. It has simulators in there. In the past, here's what we had to do. If we wanted to make a new and improved product, we had a trial machine. It was about 25 feet long. And so you'd go up there to Neenah, Wisconsin, and you would start running the trial machine for 4 or 5 weeks, trying to make something that you like. And you get something. Unfortunately, that machine's not correlated with any of the machines in the field. So you would take this and you would go to a mill and you'd shut down a line that's expensive. Lauren, isn't that expensive? You shut down a line and you start trying to remake what you've already made. And this takes time. That's not good. It knows how to make all of our products. So now the R&D team can use a simulator to say, well, what if I increased the percentage of eucalyptus? Or what if we're over making a product and I need to take a little bit of that out to put it back into spec and put some more recycle in there? Whatever the situation is, now you can do it and save a whole bunch of time. So it became an agent for them. This is what an agent is. You guys with me? So now we know how to intercept an order, and we know how to push that through the system, and we know how to do procurement. Yeah, there's our 4 to 10%, was the demonstrated value. Everybody familiar with this flow? When an order comes in, it goes to the ERP, and then the ERP sends it to whoever's on the team in order management, and then whoever's on the team in procurement gets it. This is how we do it now. This is how it's going to change. The work stays the same. What changes is how we participate in getting it done, and here it is. Instead of the order going to the ERP, the order goes to the order management agent first. The order management agent communicates with the procurement agent, and it says, hey, somebody give me a company name. I don't care. Your company. You. Give me a name. Company name. Quick. Nest. Nest. P&G. Oh, that's a competitor. I don't want to say it. Nest. Okay, so order management says, procurement agent, I got this huge order from Nest. Here's for a crap load of toilet paper. Okay, so I got this huge order. You know what to do. You know the raw materials. You know the SKUs that they're ordering. They need it done by 6 weeks. They need it done by 6 days, whatever that time is. Procurement agent now communicates to our tier 1 supplier agent. Not only does the large manufacturing company have the ability to do this. Our tier 1 suppliers have a light version that they can also use for their order management and procurement. But the important thing is it communicates back to us. What's the capacity? The procurement agent's going to go through not just this one tier 1, all of them that can make that particular product. And says, I've got this. How much capacity do you have? Do you want to be a part of it? Yes or no? Well, that order management at tier 1 starts talking to its procurement agent. You see what's happening here? That procurement agent then talks to the order management agent at tier 2. This is an upside down periscope. We can see straight down. Now, that being said, there's privacy issues that these tier suppliers want, and that's fine. All I want to know is about my product, about my stuff that's getting made, right? If something's happening at a tier 2 or a tier 3, these agents will know about it like this. No waiting like we've been having to wait, right? Their privacy is still intact. We're not looking at anything else except what's coming from my company. So this is good. Big green check mark. Now, everybody replies back, we can do this. This is good. So now the order management agent sends the PO to the ERP. Did it need to change something? Did it need to modify because we might not have enough of something or one thing or another? Then it does that, and it communicates back to the team. This is what I recommend, and here's why. They have the ability to change it, but here's the recommendation based on the knowledge of all that, based on the data that we have and the knowledge. The ERP executes the what after the agents figure out the why. Does that make sense? If we haven't done it that way, we just give it to the ERP. The ERP is a great tool, but it's a transactional piece of software. It counts transactions. So this happens throughout the network. A bunch of tier 1s. The tier 1s talk to tier 2s, tier 3s. So I've been asked, well, wait a minute, how much is this going to cost those tier 2s and tier 3s, right? They have a light version. How much is it when we don't deliver on time? Do we lose from reputation, from costs? Also, are we looking at all those things that we just talked about on the demand plan, the production planning, when we make decisions to do this? Are we doing it in digital time? Or are we having to wait? This becomes the agents for those people that work in all those departments. It's like a digital coworker that's doing all the hard work for us. We still have the job of validating this stuff. You guys good? Looking at me like I'm from Mars. Gray-head guy from Mars. Used to be redhead guy, but that was a long time ago. After it does this and sends the order to the ERP, it continuously tracks all of those orders that we've sent to those tier 1 and tier 2, and the tier 2s and the tier 3s, because they all talk, remember? So we're always constantly tracking. Will we have a problem? Can we find it faster? If we have a problem, before we even know that there's a problem, have the agents actually reworked the system to where we've gone to where the very first slide. Remember? Down at the bottom, where it reworked the tier 3s because somebody had excess capacity. And then somebody else was another company that didn't get in the first round, but now they are in this round. Does that make sense? Remodeling scenarios. So causal AI understands cause and effect. It understands how we make all the products. It even understood how softness is affected in toilet paper from all the chemicals that go in and all the machines, and what are the things that affect softness, and there's 12 things of that. And each of those 12 things have 12 things around them. It's like a bunch of suns and moons, and it makes this giant graph. For order management, we thought we had 25 issues facing us, keeping us from 100% on time and full. We thought we had 25. It came back and says, you don't have 25, you got 5. 5. These 5 things are causing these 25. If you can solve these 3, you'll go 75% right off the bat. Right? That's cause and effect. It's knowledge plus data, okay? Knowledge plus data, causal AI. It's on the hype curve. It's the next thing before we get to AGI. It can think. It's not just data. It can think. It reasons out why something is the way that it should be. Okay. Questions? Anybody?
Yeah. But here's my question. So a very interesting presentation. Yeah. Thank you very much. You talked about the agents, right? So
hold it up. I can't hear you. I'm old.
Oh.
Yeah.
You talked about the agents.
Yes.
And my question is more on the communication and coordination, right? So
okay.
What kind of, is there a conflict resolution? What is a conflict resolution system within
between
the agents?
the two?
Between, across, or with managing? Do you have a central managing agent, for example, or?
Yeah. So those are built in, yes, right? I'll be honest with you, I'm not a programmer. I'm the innovation guy. I know enough about programming that I barely got out of it in college after one course, right? I also know enough to where if somebody's trying to BS me, I can kind of point that out, but not all the time, but pretty much. So yes, they have things that are built in. I do know that of that communication line between the two, right, is that those KPIs are a big deal in the reasoning between these two. They'll go back at it and forth, just like I'm doing with you right now, right? Or you'll do to your spouse. Yes.
Hello. Yeah. So
yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I was curious when you said that you have the rules, regulations, or the white paper type of knowledge
yes.
versus then you have the SME knowledge and you bring all of them together
yes.
to train the model. So I wonder
to
teach the model. Yes. Yeah. So I wonder specifically what the process look like, because that can be applicable to our operator, to our maintenance tech, to our engineering. So
Exactly. See, now you got it. Because that's why this was a connected worker. I started it out as a connected worker utility, right? To capture the knowledge of the workforce that was leaving, right?
Right.
Because think about this, in a paper mill, I don't know where you work, but in a paper mill,
I have a nutrition.
There's say 12 big areas. Each one of those 12 areas had subject matter experts in it that could teach this. So the new employees, when they come in, will have this as a mentor to help them figure out what do they need to know, when do they need to know it, and what do they need to do about it.
So I wonder, do you write them down? Do you write them down on a document to train the model?
So actually, I tried to do it online, and it didn't work. You know why it didn't work? Because when you ask somebody how they do something on a piece of paper, or they type it, they're going to type the smallest amount of stuff that they can just to get by with it, say that they've done it. No, you have to be, this is a little bit of a part here. This is different. You need to be a little bit of a journalist and dig. Why did you use that data to help you make that decision? What does that tell you? Because it's important for the machine to learn that. And the reason why you want to have multiple is because it wants to know, okay, if I just listen to you, you may be biased. If I listen to Ron, I know he's biased, right? But I'm listening to you and you and you and you and you and you. What's common between the two? Why did they look at this? And so that's why you need the multiple. I thought also from a change management standpoint, y'all, I got 4 minutes and a half. Change management, that these people were going to hate me. I'm trying to steal their jobs. I'm trying to get their knowledge and kick them out. You know what? I was completely wrong. It's a change management issue. I got them involved. I had them tell me, how do we make this better? You've been here for 30 years. How do we make this better? We have the shot. You helped me teach this thing. And they owned it. And they were our biggest cheerleaders, male and female cheerleaders.
Thank you.
Yes, sorry. Wind me up. Just keep pulling my string. Yes.
Thank you for the presentation. I was looking at slide 19 through 23, and my question would be, when you deploy this at tiers, tier 1, 2, and 3, is it as simple as, they sign the papers and you just say, hey, install this on your computer?
Not really.
Or you have to do a lot of work?
It's not really. Because, and I'm going to tell you why. Because every company's different. Every company's different. That's what makes my toilet paper different than my competitor's toilet paper. That's what makes her drugs different than than McKesson. What do you make? What do you do? Okay, all right. Well, but you have something that makes you different than me, okay? And so it needs to learn that. The principal causal model is okay as it is. The rational causal model, there's some there that's equal to all across the board, but there's some things that companies do that make them different than their competitors, and we need to capture that, okay? I've got a meeting Thursday, not here in Chicago, but with one of the giant tire manufacturers. Right? We're going to take a week. Right? Take a week. Yes, in the back, big man in the back.
So with the causal AI, you guys are saying you're just-in-time learning. The models are just-in-time learning and continuously. So are you
Yes,
doing
they are.
that with continuous fine-tunes, with changes in prompts? And is there a separate model
So there's
doing
no
the
prompts. Here's the diff. There's no prompts in the respect of what you're thinking, like a chat GPT or a language model. The only time that we use a language model is to change the English language into math, into programming language. So you can access the graph.
Oh, so you have an ML model that's just figuring out what the best decisions are, and then you give it more inputs and it tries to fit the data?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So don't get confused with it's not a chat GPT thing at all. It's past that. But we do use that for communication because it's really good at that. The language models are really good at language.
So use the language model to interface, and then it can send things into
It can. Here's the other thing about the interface is that it depends on the department that you're working in. I want to ask them, what kind of an interface do you like? What would you like? Would you like a chat GPT, a type interface? It'd be like this. Or would you like a simple interface? Or would you like one that, and so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to us. It's just an interface. Whatever the interface that they want. If they want to look at the different things and they want to see stuff that's green, I don't agree with that, but they want to see it green and I'll show it green,
And then how do you guys handle false peaks and making sure there's not a false peak in the model?
So we come back and look at, we run it as a digital twin to start with. So people are freaking out. God, I would never put that into my supply chain, right up front. No, you run it as a digital twin until everybody's on board and trusts it, all right? And so during that time, we look at the results, compare that to real. We look at the results and we compare that to real. And we be sure, are we tracking right? Is there something that's off? The subject matter experts help us a lot with that too. Right.
Thank you.
Yes, in the back, in the green shirt. Where'd you graduate college? Michigan State or something?
No.
Got that
I
green
went to-
shirt on, okay.
I
all right.
went to college in West Texas. So I want to know how long it took you to reach that time to value after you created this and collected all that information, and how long did it take you to collect all this information from your specialists and then roll out these
So
agents?
we went from single digits to 91% touchless orders in 30 days, right? On the procurement, it told us before we even rolled it out that we should go look at this other supplier, right? That would get better runnability, usage, and yield if we had changed eucalyptus from one supplier A to supplier B. Because it's also figuring out transportation loops and all of that stuff. Oh, my time is up. Thank y'all.